The air in Erie, Pennsylvania, on August 28, 2003, carried the familiar late-summer humidity, a sticky embrace that promised nothing out of the ordinary. For Brian Wells, a pizza delivery man navigating the quiet residential streets, it was just another shift, punctuated by the faint hum of his engine and the promise of a few dollars. His route was etched into memory, a pattern of modest homes and predictable faces. Life in Erie often felt like a slow, steady current, largely untouched by the turbulent eddies of the wider world. This quiet predictability, however, was about to be obliterated by an event so jarringly bizarre, so meticulously orchestrated, that it would carve a permanent, unsettling scar into the collective psyche of the nation. It was a day that began with the mundane and descended into a horrifying tableau of fear and confusion. The first hint of the grotesque came not with a bang, but with the frantic, almost robotic movements of Wells himself. He materialized near the PNC Bank on Peach Street, his posture stiff, his eyes wide and vacant, as if observing his own body from a great distance. Around his neck, a crude, yet undeniably menacing device rested, a metallic collar cinched tightly, wires snaking from its bulk. It was a spectacle ripped from a nightmare, out of place amidst the mundane suburban architecture. Passers-by initially stared, then averted their gazes, a primal instinct to deny the unbelievable. The man's hands clutched a walking stick, a bizarre accessory, almost a prop in some macabre street theater. Its tip, however, concealed a small, potent firearm, a detail that escalated the scene from street oddity to immediate, palpable threat. Inside the bank, the transformation of Brian Wells from a delivery driver to an unwilling, desperate participant in a heist was already underway. He pushed a meticulously handwritten note across the counter, its demands stark and non-negotiable. $250,000 or the device around his neck, he claimed, would detonate. The absurdity of the situation warred with the chilling reality of the bomb. Security protocols, designed for conventional threats, buckled under the weight of this unprecedented, theatrical demand. The staff, caught between terror and disbelief, moved with a horrifying efficiency, fulfilling a request that felt simultaneously cinematic and desperately real. They could only guess at the invisible strings pulling at Wells, at the unseen puppeteers orchestrating this impossible act. As Wells fled the bank, a bag of cash clutched in his hands, the police had already been alerted. A high-stakes pursuit ensued, transforming the familiar streets of Erie into a stage for a slow-motion tragedy. Patrol cars converged, their sirens wailing a discordant anthem against the summer air. Wells, seemingly disoriented, eventually pulled his car to the side of a road, surrendering without resistance. The spectacle was now public, broadcast through the hurried dispatches of police radios and the gathering crowd of onlookers. Officers, their weapons drawn, maintained a cautious distance, their training pushed to its limits by the unknown variables of the device strapped to the man's neck. The bomb squad was en route, but time, a cruel and finite commodity, was rapidly expiring. The confusion escalated. Wells, trapped and terrified, maintained a frantic insistence on his innocence, claiming he was merely a pawn, coerced into the robbery by a group of unknown individuals who had ambushed him, secured the collar to his throat, and provided the chilling instructions. He pointed vaguely to a series of scavenger hunt-like tasks, designed, he explained, to lead him to the bomb's deactivation key, a cruel game imposed by his captors. The scenario painted by Wells was so outlandish it bordered on delusion, yet the very real, ticking device around his neck lent it a horrifying credibility. Was this the desperate fabrication of a criminal caught in the act, or the terrified plea of a man facing an impossible choice? The lines between victim and perpetrator blurred into an agonizing uncertainty. Then, with an abrupt, chilling finality, the device detonated. A concussive blast ripped through the quiet afternoon, a stark punctuation mark to the escalating tension. Brian Wells, the pizza delivery man, was gone. The immediate aftermath was a maelstrom of shock, smoke, and shattered glass, leaving behind a profound and agonizing question: who was responsible for this calculated act of terror, and why? The scene transformed from a volatile hostage situation into a complex crime scene, a labyrinth of physical and psychological evidence. This single, brutal act would unravel into one of the most perplexing and disturbing investigations in American criminal history, a descent into a shadowy world of manipulation, hidden agendas, and a chilling disregard for human life. The quiet town of Erie was now the unwilling epicenter of a mystery that would challenge every notion of motive, victimhood, and justice. The blast site, moments after the concussive force had dissipated, presented a tableau of chilling precision for the arriving forensic teams. No longer merely a scene of tragedy, it became a meticulous grid for examination, its fragments scattered like grim confetti. Investigators, their expressions grim beneath the brim of their caps, methodically scoured every inch, searching for microscopic clues amidst the larger, more obvious devastation. Bits of metal, wire, and synthetic materials were carefully bagged, each piece a potential utterance from the silent device. The very ground bore the scars of the explosion, a shallow crater speaking volumes about the contained, yet lethal, force. Beyond the immediate impact zone, the investigation broadened. The victim's delivery vehicle, parked a short distance away, yielded its own array of potential evidence. Pizza boxes, mundane remnants of a disrupted routine, alongside more intriguing items that hinted at a deeper, darker narrative. Investigators processed the vehicle with clinical detachment, dusting for prints, collecting fibers, and cataloging personal effects that might illuminate the final hours preceding the explosion. The PNC Bank, meanwhile, became a frozen diorama of a crime in progress, its counters and floors meticulously swept for any overlooked trace, its surveillance footage a critical, unblinking witness to the events within. The initial lack of conventional criminal signatures, no struggle, no clear entry point beyond the victim himself, made the task profoundly perplexing. Subsequently, the autopsy provided its own stark, undeniable testimony. The medical examiner, working with a dispassionate rigor, painstakingly analyzed the effects of the blast on the victim's body. This grim analysis not only confirmed the immediate cause of death, but also offered crucial insights into the construction and placement of the collar bomb. Fragments of the device, embedded within the tissue, would prove invaluable for reconstruction. The examination also sought any signs of struggle, restraint, or unusual chemical substances in the victim's system, probing for evidence of incapacitation or coercion that might corroborate his desperate claims. Meanwhile, a dedicated team began the laborious process of collecting witness statements. Bank employees recounted their terror, their memories fractured by the surreal nature of the event. Onlookers, drawn by the sirens and the unfolding drama, offered disjointed recollections, their perspectives often skewed by distance and fear. Each account, however fragmented, contributed a brushstroke to the emerging picture. Concurrently, the surveillance footage from the bank and surrounding businesses underwent rigorous review, frame by agonizing frame. This cold, impartial record captured Wells's movements, his demeanor inside the bank, and his brief, final moments, offering an objective timeline against the subjective horror of human memory. It presented a crucial, if silent, counterpoint to the chaotic human narratives. The early stages of the investigation inevitably led to an examination of the victim's own life. Was Brian Wells truly an unwitting pawn, or was there a hidden complicity beneath his frightened demeanor? Detectives delved into his financial history, his social circles, and his daily habits, searching for any anomaly that might connect him to the extraordinary crime. His past associations came under intense scrutiny. Furthermore, the sheer ingenuity and audacity of the bomb's design and the elaborate scavenger hunt element strongly suggested a mastermind with a twisted, almost theatrical, criminal mind, rather than a simple, opportunistic thief. The profile that began to form was chillingly unique. The bizarre nature of the incident immediately attracted a glaring national spotlight, placing immense pressure on the small-town police department. Local detectives, accustomed to more conventional crimes, found themselves navigating a media frenzy and the intense scrutiny of federal agencies, whose assistance became indispensable. The internal dynamics shifted. The initial skepticism among some officers about Wells's victimhood began to give way to a grudging acceptance of the surreal complexity. Superiors demanded rapid progress, pushing against the slow, painstaking reality of forensic work. The public, gripped by the unsettling story, clamored for answers, their collective fascination bordering on morbid curiosity, adding another layer of urgency to an already unprecedented investigation. The investigative journey, having navigated through layers of the improbable and the tragic, now approaches a precipice of understanding. Reflecting on this intricate path, one senses a deepening of shadows, even as fragments of illumination emerge. What initially presented itself as an isolated, horrifying aberration progressively unfolded into a sprawling tapestry, its threads woven with deliberate malice and disquieting ingenuity. The quest for clarity has, at every turn, challenged fundamental assumptions about causality and intent, demanding a recalibration of perspective from those tasked with deciphering its bewildering contours. Throughout this descent into an extraordinary criminal enterprise, the very definitions of culpability and coercion have been rigorously tested. The pursuit of truth unfolded not as a linear march but a circuitous exploration, each discovery opening new vistas of disturbing possibility rather than offering definitive answers. It felt akin to peeling back layers, only to find another, more subtle and poignant, layer beneath. The psychological terrain traversed proved as treacherous as any physical obstacle, revealing the profound exploitability of human vulnerabilities and the chilling precision of manipulative forces. Drawing these disparate strands together, we discern a pattern far more sophisticated than surface appearances initially suggested. The interplay between calculated design and human fragility forms the bedrock of this narrative. Some orchestrations, so meticulously crafted and deeply embedded in a web of personal histories and concealed agendas, reveal their true architecture only through patient, almost surgical disentanglement. This process has inherently forced a re-examination of the boundaries between agency and victimization, posing questions that resonate far beyond the immediate confines of the case. The cumulative weight of these intertwined revelations presses upon the conscience, urging a deeper introspection into the darker facets of human ambition and despair. The sheer audacity and peculiar methodology employed in this unfolding drama have underscored a profound erosion of trust, not merely between individuals but within the broader societal framework. It highlights how quickly the familiar can transmute into the terrifying, and how deeply psychological warfare can infiltrate the tangible. As the investigative lens sharpens, it reveals not just the mechanics of a crime, but the unsettling philosophy underpinning it, one seemingly reveling in the manipulation of circumstance and the theatricality of despair. This gradual revelation of an expansive, interconnected scheme shifts the focus from a singular event to a complex constellation of influences, each contributing to a grim, preordained trajectory. In light of these insights, the path forward becomes clearer, albeit fraught with lingering echoes of what has transpired. The narrative has moved beyond merely chronicling events. It has become an exploration of the human condition under extreme duress, a study in the resilience of investigation against unprecedented challenge. We have witnessed the tireless dedication to piecing together a mosaic of fragmented realities, often under the relentless gaze of public curiosity and professional pressure. This journey has illuminated the intricate dance between forensic precision, psychological deduction, and the unwavering pursuit of justice, however complex its final form may manifest. As we pivot towards the final reflection, the mosaic is nearly complete, though some pieces remain stubbornly elusive, forever shrouded in the mists of human intent. The weight of understanding, however partial, now settles, preparing us for the conclusive unveiling of the forces that propelled this narrative to its tragic climax. This story is not merely about a crime, but about the profound questions it ignited, questions challenging our perceptions of truth, morality, and the intricate web of human connections that bind us, even in their most twisted forms. The stage is set for a comprehensive reckoning, an inevitable culmination where the threads of an extraordinary mystery finally converge into their ultimate, indelible pattern. The echoes of that summer day in Erie, Pennsylvania, reverberate with an unsettling clarity, long after the physical evidence was meticulously catalogued and the legal pronouncements rendered. What unfolded was not merely a crime, but a grotesque theater staged on the unsuspecting canvas of daily life, leaving behind a legacy that defies simple categorization or easy closure. It stands as a profound testament to the intricate, often terrifying, depths of human depravity and the alarming fragility of an existence assumed to be governed by rational principles. The narrative, steeped in the chilling details of an unprecedented act, compels a deeper introspection into the unseen forces that can shatter normalcy, challenging every established notion of motive, victimhood, and the relentless pursuit of truth. At the heart of this enduring enigma lies the agonizing ambiguity surrounding Brian Wells himself. Was he, as he desperately claimed in his final, terrified moments, an innocent pawn ensnared in a scheme of unimaginable cruelty, forced into a deadly charade by unseen manipulators? Or did a deeper, more complicated complicity weave through his actions, blurring the lines between the coerced and the complicit? This fundamental question, though officially addressed by the intricate web of circumstantial and direct evidence uncovered, continues to haunt the collective imagination, a persistent shadow cast over the clear light of justice. It underscores the chilling efficacy of psychological manipulation, demonstrating how a meticulously crafted illusion can distort reality, exploiting vulnerabilities with precision and turning ordinary individuals into instruments of extraordinary terror. The unraveling investigation, therefore, became a journey not just into a criminal act, but into the very nature of persuasion and coercion. The meticulously constructed plot, with its bizarre scavenger hunt and the theatrical deployment of a deadly device, revealed a criminal intellect operating on a disturbing plane of ingenuity and ruthlessness. It was a scheme designed not merely for financial gain, but seemingly for the sheer spectacle of control, a macabre performance intended to terrorize and bewilder. Such intricate malevolence forces us to confront the unsettling reality that some evils are born not of passion or impulse, but of cold, calculating design, orchestrated with an almost cinematic precision. This realization challenges the conventional frameworks of criminal psychology, pushing the boundaries of understanding what drives individuals to such extremes, and how easily the fabric of everyday security can be torn by those who dwell in its darker fringes. In the aftermath, the case left an indelible mark, not only on the individuals directly involved but on the very community it shattered. It became a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of malevolence, a cautionary tale whispered in the quiet corners of collective memory. The quest for resolution, though arduous and ultimately leading to convictions, simultaneously exposed the limitations of perfect clarity, leaving fragments of doubt and speculation that persist to this day. It stands as a perpetual challenge to the investigative spirit, urging a constant evolution of methodology and an unwavering commitment to unraveling even the most bizarre and convoluted narratives of crime. Ultimately, this extraordinary story transcends its factual recounting to become a potent meditation on the human condition itself. It speaks to the fragility of life, the hidden currents of darkness that can surface, and the profound, often unsettling, mystery of human motivation. The true impact lies not just in the horror of what transpired, but in the persistent questions it compels us to ask about vulnerability, culpability, and the enduring human struggle to reconcile with the inexplicable. It serves as a stark, enduring whisper in the collective consciousness, a perpetual invitation to look beyond the surface, to question the obvious, and to acknowledge the vast, often terrifying, spectrum of possibilities that lie concealed beneath the veneer of ordinary existence. The vigilance, therefore, against the subtle onset of such chilling complexities, truly begins now.